Listen, every single keynote speaker you admire started at zero. No name, no reel, no gigs. The difference is they all did one thing first that set the stage for every single thing else. Now, starting from zero, it can feel overwhelming. It can feel like you don't know where to begin, and the dream of keynotes just feels like it's super far away. It's not going to be in your wheelhouse. But every big speaker's journey has the same first step: clarity. Like, that's really it. In this video, I'll show you the one thing to start with that will accelerate your journey from beginner to booked keynote. And I'm telling you, it begins with clarity. Now, it may be a thing where clarity is going to be, we'll call it different for you than somebody else. Maybe you want to have clarity on your message. Maybe it's clarity on your skill set. Maybe it's clarity on your audience. But clarity is the key. Why? Because when you start pushing forward with something, you can't go out there and be a shotgun. As a speaker in our world, your best asset when it comes to getting booked gigs and actually staying in flow and booked is going to be, do you have a precise thing you do? Are you a specialist? Right? There's a reason why a brain surgeon who specifically does brain surgery, or a shoulder surgeon or a foot surgeon, whatever it is, they get paid more than a general doctor, right? Your general care physician. Why? Because that person does one thing and does it really, really well. So everyone goes to that person. They can charge more, they make more, they're more in demand. So you want to start thinking about clarity as key, because if you have something you do and you serve people who need the thing you do, now you got something great, and that's what I want to get you into, right? So the first step of this is to start with your $1 million message. Now, if you follow my work, you know what I mean by this. This is the message that's so rare and unique and specifically yours that it's worth $1 million. If you look at some of the best books that you've probably heard of, listen to the titles and think about, man, it's a unique message. That message makes the book unique. It gets sold more. All of a sudden, it's this amazing big book, right? Think of Atomic Habits, Good to Great, the 10X Rule, which I think is Cardone's. You have Identity Shift, which is mine. You have High Performance Habits, Millionaire Success Habits, Tiny Habits. This is habits books I'm thinking about. I Am Leader. Like, these are unique titles. What are they? $1 million messages. Those titles are so unique, so specific in a topic area already of, let's say, habits or progression or productivity, delegation. They're in specific topic areas, but the message resounds uniquely in the area, right? You don't have to start, and shouldn't start, with branding. You start with clarity. So most people go, I'm going to make a big brand. It's the message you start with first. The message is the brand, the persona, the branding, the websites, the logos, the titles. That's stuff that comes off the backside of a brand. You should first know what your message is, who you serve, how you serve them, and then from there, now you create the aesthetics, the colors, the fonts, the design, the type of pictures, like all those things. They're like taking the brand's personality and making it visible and real. But if you start there, you might find that all of a sudden the message changes, or the message is different from what the brand is or what the branding is. Imagine if all of a sudden you looked at Harley Davidson motorcycles and it was like pink and butterflies. That branding doesn't match the brand, right? The personality is the brand. The display of that personality, the communication of that personality is brought forth through branding. The colors, the fonts, the texture, all that kind of stuff. And so what happens is most folks, they start there. And why do you do this? Just so you know, it's comfortable. It's less stressful, because you could be behind the scenes in your own little computer, taking away and making a website and business cards and all these little fonts and stuff. And that sounds fun, but it doesn't move the needle for you, because you're not focusing on a message and then putting that message out to the world. You have to define who you serve, what problem you solve, and what result that you deliver. Without this, nothing else sticks. Because you could even see some companies have horrible brand and branding, but the solution is phenomenal and it's needed, and the solution alone gets traction and makes them money. So for you, the idea is to go, well, what is it that you personally need to make sure that you have a message that's clear to the world? And then once the message is clear and it sticks, now I can go, man, I think this message is great. Here's the brand behind it. Great. Now the brand's done. Here's what the branding should look like to bring it out. So you've got to make sure you develop a $1 million message first and then branch into the rest of it. Now, point 2, you must build a simple signature talk. Now, what do I mean by a simple signature talk? Well, I say create a 20 to 30 minute vision of your core talk. Now, you may at times have to go 45 to 60, which is what I typically do. But if you have 30 minutes, you can make 30, 45 very simply. If you have 45 minutes, you can make 45 an hour Very simply, it's not that hard, but it's knowing how to tell stories. But the core of it is a signature talk. It's a foundational piece that you talk to, that you have the ability to adjust. So you don't want to overcomplicate things. You want to focus on a very clear message, a thesis statement, 3 big takeaways, and a recap. Now, you'll have an opening story and a conclusion story. Those are actually the same story that are opened up to start the keynote and close the keynote. But this becomes a prototype of your future keynotes. You're testing things, right? You can easily get a 30-minute keynote virtually. You can go on live on social media, do a 30-minute presentation. I don't care if 2 people tune in and 1 person's trolling you. It's not, the purpose isn't to make them love it right now. It's to get it out of you and see what feels good and how the stories flow. And the idea is to get practice doing it. But you must build this talk. And it can't be random. You can't just start talking and not knowing where the end goes. You must follow a structure of a keynote design. If you do not follow a keynote design structure, you are literally hoping that you just say words that make sense to people. And it ends with them going, that was a phenomenal 30 minutes. If you're winging it, you're going to fall. Like, you're going to fall off the cliff. You're not going to catch flight and go. So structure and build properly a simple signature talk. Hey, I hope you're enjoying this video right now. Now, I want to let you know I have a training coming up. And in this training, I unpack my entire speaking business system. It's called the Speak to Freedom Formula. Now, in this system, I unpack what's literally taken me from $0 to 7 figures a year in my speaking business. And it's something that you can actually do for yourself. So all you have to do to get access to this is you can click the link that's in the description below and it'll take you there, or wait till the end of the video, check it all out and get over there. But no matter what you do, don't miss that. All right, that's it. Let's get back to the video. All right. Number 3, get your first reps on small stages. I cannot emphasize this enough. Now, yes, you want to be paid to do your thing, right? But don't you want to feel fully prepared to get in that stage and charge $10,000? You can do that by finding local events where you can volunteer and speak, workshops you can go and attend, online summits. These things are all over the place. Find them and then reach out and go, are you looking for more speakers for your online summit? Like, this isn't really all that hard, but most people are deathly afraid of looking stupid. So they don't take the next step, we'll call it leap, and go out and get reps at small stages. You have to build up to the big ones. I did. Everybody does. You don't come out of the gates and just kill it. Now, you might. Here's the thing. The times when you might have that happen are when you're a CEO of a very well-known billion-dollar company, right? You're not going out to speak for free. That's not going to happen. Or you're a person that has like some fame from, I don't know, television in some way. You've done something. You probably can go out and charge something. But the truth is, if you're like me, like most people, we come out of something, we want to step into a new role. You got to start from the bottom. I was a professional football player in the NFL. I had to start at the bottom. Even now, that doesn't do anything for me. I was out there trying to get people to listen to me while I was walking around at parks, talking to people at boot camps after they just got done working out. Then I went to elementary schools, and then high schools, and then junior colleges, then colleges, then a couple corporations, and it built from there. Not accident, intentional, structured. It's properly done. But I had to take small reps in small rooms. But the more I did it, the more I volunteered, the more I simply showed up when other people just don't show up, I built the skills. I got the footage. I got the confidence. So I stacked these small wins into not just like confidence for me, but also credibility for the world, because now I have the skill set of knowing how to go back and forth and move a room properly. I know how to infuse certain parts of my story into the keynote as benefit, how to engage the audience properly. I know how to get the right footage so I can use that as social proof to get the next stage. And then because I'm delivering these stories, I'm confident in delivering stories, right? That's what you have to do. You have to go out and build your skills, get your footage, and build your confidence. And then what happens is you start stacking those small wins. The more you do it, the better you get credibility. Now, credibility is the biggest key here, because if you don't have any credibility, you're going to struggle to get booked for the stages you want. And it doesn't have to be somewhere you've been on a stage as big. My first $25,000 gig was for T-Mobile. I hadn't charged that ever. Killed it though. But the idea is I built up to it, baby step, baby step, baby step. When I reached out, I knew I was prepared for it. But when I got that gig, I was like, let's go to work. And I muscled up, got everything done, went to work and killed it. So you have to actually build up to that point. So when you get there, you're locked and loaded. If you don't do that, you're just hoping that at some point you just get that gig and it plays out. Doesn't work that way, right? Number 4, 2 plus 2, document everything for proof. Everything. One of the hardest things for people to get nowadays is like good footage. Like we actually have a live event for our company called Speak to Freedom Live, where we have people fly in. We have a 26 by 9 foot stage that's all LED, backdrop wall 26 by 9, and people get great footage, right? But on top of that, I go, hey, when you're off the stage, get testimonials from people that are in the audience, right? Get footage of you getting mic'd up, going up on stage while you're speaking, all these different angles. This is phenomenal footage for everything you need for proof. So record every single talk. Get as many testimonials as you can. Share clips of you speaking online. Like you might be watching this right now because you saw a clip of me on a stage giving my talk at one of many different companies. Proof builds faster than perfection, right? Proof is a thing that you really want to have out in the world showing you should be on a stage. You can't perfect your talk unless you do that. So proof is going to build over time, and then you can perfect your speech by getting more opportunities from proof being out there. So use each stage as a stepping stone towards your keynote reel or speaking reel, which for me I call a story reel. But all these things are required. You must create proof by getting footage, by giving speeches at different stages, and again, starting small. But do not walk away from any stage with no proof of you having been on the stage. Ask the organizers, can I get this footage after the fact? All these things matter, right? Now, 5, last piece, create a repeatable outreach habit. If you don't have something in place reliably to do outreach every single weekday, you're not going to grow your business properly. I don't care how well you're known. I don't care if you get a viral video here and there. Consistency is king. So you have to be consistently reaching out. And then once you reach out, developing a rapport over time and sending multiple messages. So maybe the first week you send 100 emails. Cool. The next week's 100 more emails while still nurturing the previous 100. The third week is going to be nurturing and sending out messages for a new 100, but nurturing 200 more. On the fourth week, I'm sending out 100 more emails and nurturing 300 other. You see what I'm saying? We build and build and build, but you've got to consistently do it. So weekly, you should reach out to, in my opinion, between 10 and 100 different associations, meeting planning companies, bureaus, direct to events. Like if you're doing it right, you're between 100, honestly, and 500, in my opinion, but you have to know how to get to 500. We can teach you. But the idea is you got to get to that point of going, I am in consistent outreach. Even when you book a speech, you're consistently doing outreach because consistency compounds. You always have opportunities in the pipeline if you do this right. If you don't do this right, what some people do is they go, I got a speech. Let me focus on the speech. And then all of a sudden they're focused on the speech. They stop doing outreach. The speech gets done. They have nothing else lined up. They have to start from scratch to spin the wheel back up and get momentum again to even get the book in the first place. 0 becomes momentum when you commit to the habit. If that makes sense, like you have nothing and you commit to the habit and it becomes speeches, right? So it's okay to start from scratch, but you don't want to have to if you don't have to. So the idea is to get into a habit of consistently doing outreach. As I'm doing outreach and something comes in, that machine of outreach, it never stops. In fact, it should increase as best you can over the years. No matter what you're doing, still be doing outreach. That's the big piece of it all, right? And then from there, you'll find yourself in better position to have better conversations, to do a better job of actually communicating your message and your value so you can get in the dream stage and do a phenomenal job and feel like you belong there, because that's the big key. That's the big piece for most folks, is to get there and know you belong there. Now, just, 0 isn't a setback. It's a starting line. You might think you're behind the ball. You're never behind the ball until you actually tell yourself, I'm behind the ball. But when you're actually just getting started, that's where you're supposed to start. If you want to look at it from a philosophical standpoint, everything you did leading to this moment now was what was supposed to happen. It begins with your message. Then you build your reps, and momentum will carry you to the keynotes faster than you think. But if you don't take those reps, if you don't build momentum by taking action, the reps never pan out. You'll never get the one you actually want. You probably should be on because no one knew you existed. And your message didn't get out to the world the way it was supposed to because you didn't do the work to get it out to the world the way it was supposed to. So if you want the full roadmap to take care of all these pieces, we do this, and we do it very well. Go to speaktofreedom.com. I love serving my clients and teaching them all the things that I'm teaching you and then everything else you need to know. And it's the best place to go to get all the information on what we do. Outside of that, if you've enjoyed this video, you can make sure you watch the rest of the videos like this. But here's the big thing I want you to pay attention to. Your speaking dreams will take place when you choose to put them in the forefront. when you choose to make it your actual focus to get on that stage to serve people, it is not reserved for someone with some crazy story or a special background. It's reserved for the person prepared to do the work to get themselves in the position to get booked and know the skill sets required to get onto stages and then build the on-stage skill set. But there is a skill to getting on stages, and you must develop it if you want to be in a position to actually get booked, deliver your speech, and live a very free life, the way that I and so many people get to do, purely because we've built these muscles, we developed these skill sets, and we put it out into the world. So again, go to speaktofreedom.com if you want these actual steps of how we do this. And if not, I'll see you in the next video.